Yo, how's it going, guys? How's it going, Apple Army? How are you all doing today? I hope you're all doing well. So today we're doing something a bit different. Yes, we've done a tier list before, but we've never done a tier list like this before. In this tier list, we are going to be going over which is the best class to be playing as a beginner. So imagine that you've never played a Magdem before, or you've never played a Magblade before. Hell, if you've never played any class before, right? What is this class like as a first-time player? How well can you do on it, like as your first time playing it, right? So that means, will you die quickly? Will you be able to get combos in? Will you be able to, maybe go 1vx or do group play of it? Like, how far can you get just by being a new player? And that is what we're looking at in this tier list. But before we get into that then, I want to give a big shout out to my members, the Apple Generals. Guys, thank you so much for the major support you've been giving me. Honestly, it's amazing. Thanks to you, I'm going to be able to keep pushing more and more content. And thanks to everybody that's tuning in. We're past 1,400 subscribers now, guys. And you guys just coming in, hitting that like button, commenting, you help massively in my ability to keep pushing out content. So, thank you very much, guys. Without any further ado, let's get right into it. So, in no particular order, what I've just done is mag, stam, all the way down, right? So it's not from best to worst or any of that good stuff. Okay, so the first one we got then is Mag DK. Mag DK sits in a C. Now, the reason why it sits in a C and not lower or not higher is because for Mag DK, it's actually a pretty skillful class, and it does have quite a bit of a barrier to entry in it. Even though it's got a good toolkit, its skills are really expensive, and for it to stay alive, you need to be really aggressive. And I feel like a newer player to Mag DK wouldn't have that sense of aggression in them. They wouldn't be pushing as hard as you should be, because obviously they're not as confident on it, and that comes with time. You have to build up that confidence. And don't be wrong, Mag DK is a great class for group play, and I think if you're playing this in groups and you do play a bit on the tankier side, you can stay alive. But for doing exceptionally well on it, I think that's going to take a lot of skill, a lot of effort, but it is doable. Right, so now on the opposite end of the spectrum, Stam DK. Stam DK goes in the S tier. Yes, and this is not because I'm a Stam DK main, right? This is not because I'm a Stam DK main. For all these guys, I went into my Discord, right? I went into my Discord earlier today, and I had about a half-hour conversation with everybody in the Discord, everybody who showed up, and we just talked about literally every single class. Obviously, I'm not doing what they say, I'm making it my own, but we all pretty much agreed that the DK class in general has a great toolkit, and it's more on the Stam side than Mag, because the Stam can take advantage of that more. First of all, we have Fragmented Shield. Fragmented Shield gives a 16% increased healing received when we put that down. On top of that, it gives us our minor our minor brutality, so we get increased weapon damage by 10%. So even if you build tanky, no matter what, you get in that 10% weapon damage. On top of that, if you put, if you put on a sword and shield on a Stam DK, you can become pretty tanky really fast, because DK gets increased block mitigation, and that is awesome. Like through the sword and board passives, and then pair that with the DK passive for block mitigation, that is great. You get spell resistance, and from the DK passives, and on top of that, every time you use leap, either a sword and board ulti or every time you use ulti, so if you use leap or sword and board ulti, you get resources back as well. So sustain management on DK is pretty good. Obviously, it takes a lot of skill to become a top tier DK. Like, there is a massive difference between how easy it is to play and then how hard it is to master. And we're just looking at today how easy it is to pick up and play. And Stam DK is pretty easy to pick up and play. Got great toolkit, great survivability, great sustain, and damage, all inbuilt into the toolkit of Stam DK. And I went in more detail about this one because I want to justify why I put this as an S tier, and why I recommend Stam DK for people who are looking for a new class to play, or are just starting ESO, and are just looking for that easy to play, easy to pick up, fun class. And I have to say, Stam DK fits the role perfectly. Right, moving on to Stampler then. No, Magpla. So Magpla is also an S tier, and what I'm going to be doing from left to right. So on this side is the better one, and this side is the worst one, right? So if we keep going, like say if I had 4 up here, the one over here would be the worst of the 4, and the one over here would be the best. So I'm putting Magpla just a bit above Stam DK. Now Magpla is so good for new players, right? You have a burst heal, right? You have a burst heal, amazing. You can block, you can put sword and board on, burst heal. On top of that, you have a purge. You have a really powerful purge, and then while stood in your purge area, you also get, I believe it is, I can't remember the exact name of it. Is it? It's minus something. Okay, basically, it gives you, I'm pretty sure, 8% extra healing while stood in the ring. I can't remember the exact name of the minor buff, but you get more healing while stood in that ring, and it purges those negative effects off you, which is brilliant. And then you can stay offensive really easy on the Magplar, because you can just jab, 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 and as you're jabbing, you're getting heals back from doing damage. So the more offensive you are, the more heals you get back. And then once you're stood in your ruin as well, you get extra healing received from being stood in your ruin. The magic sustain is pretty good at Magplar as well. Very easy to build tanky, very easy to just purge all those negative effects and to do damage. With a good ability to do burst through its ultimate, through sweeps or Dawnbreaker, whichever one you choose. So yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with how Magplar sits. Also, I believe you get minus sorcery as well every time you activate Power of the Light or something in that class skill tree line as well, which is very nice. So yeah, Magplar, very easy to play, very easy to pick up, and it's a recommended class if you are new or looking for a new class to play. Now, Templar. Templar is just a bit worse than Magplar in terms of the ability to pick up and play. Now, it has a Purge as well. The thing that it lacks is it doesn't have the burst heal that Magplar has. Obviously, you can use Rally for our heals, but we have more overtime heals through Vigor. So burst healing, like getting your health from about, if you drop to, let's say, 20, 10%, getting your health back up is harder, but we do have more, we do have our Purge as well. We obviously have more stamina, break free, roll dodge, all that good stuff. But the damage that we do not get heals back from doing, say, jabs like the Magplar does. So we don't get that offensive heals as well as Magplar does. We don't actually get any. So that's a big reason why Magplar is a bit better. But the Purge is massive for why it's up A. Having a Purge in your toolkit, it is really upping how easy it is to play a class, right? Having a Purge available to you. And you'll notice a lot of classes that will be going up in these two ranks will have a Purge. DK being an exception because it's got an amazing toolkit by itself. It doesn't need a Purge, right? Again, then with Templar. So to go with Templar, you can stay alive pretty easy, but you gotta be wary that if you build super tanky, you won't necessarily have that enough damage to kill the tanky players. So sometimes you can find yourself a bit squishy if you want to kill players. But great toolkit, great toolkit, easy to play, easy to learn. Right, Mag Sorc. I'm going to be putting Mag Sorc down at, I believe, a C. Let me just think. Yeah, Mag Sorc is a C. Sorry, I just had to quickly think about where I was putting that. Yeah, basically, if you want to go for a skill for Mag Sorc, right, where you're shield stacking, streaking, doing your combos, it takes time to learn how to shield stack and keep it up all the time. It takes time how to learn, when you can burst, when to move. There's a lot of skill required in Mag Sorc, and picking it up, you can find yourself getting bursted down really quick if you let those shields drop, or if you let yourself get too much pressure on you. Very easy to drop a new Mag Sorc. Now, it would actually be a bit lower. What brings it up a bit is the fact that Mag Sorc, you can go for pets. So you can go for a pet Mag Sorc with a heavy attack build. And a heavy attack Mag Sorc build is really easy to play. It's very new player friendly, noob friendly. But there is a limit on how well you can do with it. And against skillful players, you won't really be able to push it much further into like 1vx or outnumbered situations that well. But for staying alive and just doing damage in groups, it does well, easy to play. But it's not a playstyle I recommend because you can't really get as much out of that kind of playstyle. So sitting that at C. Right, moving then over to a Stam Sorc. So a Stam Sorc, in my opinion, is just better than a Mag Sorc. And purely because Stam Sorc, it does feel a bit easier. Being able to, you're not stacking shields, you got your heals over time, you can build quite a bit tankier than Mag Sorc, you still have your streak that Mag Sorc has, and then what Mag Sorc does, it transfers stamina into magic to get your resources back. Now Stam Sorc transfers magic into stamina, and the reason why that's better, in my opinion, right, is that if you get stunned, you need stamina to break free. In the Magic Sorc, you need to learn how to sustain that stamina as well as sustaining magic. On Stam Sorc, you don't really need to worry as much about sustaining your magic. Of course you do, to be able to X and stuff, but it's not as important. So your magic turns into stamina, and then your stamina you can still break free, roll dodge, run, all that good stuff. And So yeah, that's why I think Stamstalk's a bit easier to play. And then if you chuck stuff like Critical Surge on both of these, they're obviously nice. You get offensive heals. I feel that's even better on Stamstalk, being in their faces. But yeah, it's the Sorks have got a great toolkit. The thing is, with that toolkit, it requires skill, and especially the Stamstalk as well. You need to actually kill players. You want to be using your movement, your line of sight, and then bursting people down very quickly with your combos. And it takes time to learn those combos. And the Sorks are a great class, right? Brilliant classes. How a brilliant class. But in terms of a new player and new friendly, I think it's not going any higher than a B. And B is still good, but yeah, that's where it's at in. B basically means good utility, but requires skill. Yeah. And then into the Magblade. So Magblade's going to be set at a D. And the reason why Magblade is going to be the worst one in this tier list is because Magblade is very difficult to play. And it's got a very steep learning curve, and not many people, if you were to pick up Magblade, you wouldn't play Magblade in the way that it's supposed to be played. You basically have to move about, play around with your enemy, just like attacking, building up your relentless charge, right, your ultimate, and then you need to go for quick combos. You need to be nuking people fast, but it's very mechanical in how the combo is done, and you don't see many players do it right. Obviously, it's got a very good potential, Magblade, but in terms of being able to actually kill people and do stuff as a Magblade as a new player, it's got a very steep learning curve, and you really don't see many people play it as intended. So yeah, I would say this is one of the more difficult classes to play, definitely, just by picking it up. Then on to Stanblade. Stanblade is also going to be a C, and I'm going to put that on here. So it's going to be, if we just move this, right, that's how I'd have the C bracket going. So Stanblade being the better one of the C's. So basically, Stanblade is really good. It has really good damage, and if you watch my 1vx tier list, Stanblade was up here, and so was Mag Sorc. I mean, like, they have got really good potential. But Stanblade, you can go invisible, you can reset the fight whenever you want, you can teleport. However, all of this takes skill and awareness, right? You need to know how to go invisible properly, you need to know how to reset a fight, you need to know when to put your teleport down and when to use it. You're very, very squishy. You can get nuked very quickly if you leave yourself even open for a second. If you leave yourself open for a second, you can be taken out as a Stanblade, because you have the toolkit to be able to reset the fight whenever you want, to be able to burst people down really well if done skillfully. But that takes time and effort to learn how to play this. Picking it up and playing a Stanblade, unless you're a sniper, unless you're a snipe Stanblade, picking it up and playing a Stanblade not like a pussy. It takes time and skill. It's a class I recommend, but you just need to be aware that these classes above it are easier to pick up and play as a beginner, and not die as quick and still be able to do stuff and function, right? And then we're going to move on to the Mag Necro. So the Mag Necro is going to be set in A and just above Templar. So Mag Necro is awesome. Straight away you have 10% damage mitigation from the class by having your Spirit Men drop. On top of that, you have a class Purge. You compare this with Race Against Time to get your movement. Right, I know it's off class skill, but you compare that with Race Against Time. You've got a great burst heal, and obviously the heal does give you a major defile, I'm pretty sure, or minor defile. Major or minor defile, but that's fine because you can just purge that. You can keep getting those major burst heals. On top of that, you have amazing burst potential, right? Oh, sorry, pardon me. By literally running free Harmony Jewelry, and with the synergy ability, the Grave Robber ability, you can synergize and hit people for a massive amount of damage. And I don't believe it's that hard to actually learn how to. You just place your skill and you synergize it, and you just got to put it in that circle where the players are. It's not the hardest skill to use. Obviously, going on for 1vxing and timing that with a Colossus ulti and maybe a Fear and Blast Bones and stuff, that picks up the combo. It gets a bit harder to learn and do, right? But to pick it up and survive, you've got amazing tankiness, you've got great sustain through the passive, because your passives gives you really good sustain, and then on top of that, you've got good heals from your Tether, you've got a Purge available to you, and then you've got damage potential as well. So I think Magcro is a really good class, and pretty underrated, I would say, in terms of being able to go in and do well with. Obviously, the Stamcrow is going to be better than the Magcro, it just is. If you have played the game, you will know this for a fact already, but if you haven't played the game, basically the Stamcrow has got everything that the Magcro has. It's got the heals, right? It's got the heals, it's got the Purge, right? But It doesn't need to use the burst heal from from its skill tree that Magicka does, and that gives the Major Defile, or the Minor Defile, I can't remember which one. Instead, it can use Vigor and Rally and pair that with additional heal over times, as with the Terror. You can still use your Purge, you can still use Risk in Time with all that, but you have Blast Bones, and Blast Bones do Major Defile to your enemy, do a shit ton of damage, are really easy to use, right? Sometimes they don't work, that's just the game being broken, but when they do work, when you aim a Blast Bone at a target, all you have to do is literally Blast Bone, Uppercut, Dawnbreaker, and you can kill players, and you can be pretty tanky. I mean, Stamcrow is the easiest class to play in the game. Anybody that says I'm wrong can go suck my dick. Because Stamcrow is way too bloody easy. Like, I've obviously pissed off a few people by saying that, but I mean, you gotta look in the mirror and say, how easy is your class? How much is your class giving you? And Stamcrow is really easy to play, and I highly recommend it for new players. Obviously Magpla just behind the Stamcrow. Magpla is very easy to play, and same as Stam DK, but Stam Necro just takes it to that whole other level. So yes, if you're a new player, I recommend Stamcrow. You can do well as a low CP or high CP, doesn't matter what CP you are. If you've never played Stamcrow yet, I mean, I respect that. I respect that because it's so easy and so cheesy. But if you're looking to get if you're looking to play a different class, or you're looking just to get into ESO, it's a great class to go for, right? Moving on to Magden then. Magden is a B in my opinion, and I think it's best to do Magden after I do Stamden, right? So Stamden is a B, right? And I'm going to put it on the lower end here of the B. The Samsung just above it, right? So Stamden's great. You got burst, right? You've got burst potential. You've got tankiness. But to play a Stamden, you've got to play it in a particular way. For most people, I play my Stamden a bit differently. I'll be doing a build video on that shortly to give people an alternative, but I literally see nobody running it the way I run it. For the majority of people, you're running about 40k health, 36k health on a sword and board. That's important. They're using sword and board, say Pariah for really tanky sets, Malakath, Balorgs, and I mean, the healing on a Stamden is hard. It is hard. And when you've got the healing on a build like this, then movement is hard as well. And if you can move and heal correctly, your damage might not be there. And if your damage is there, then your sustain is going to be lacking. There's always this area where it's difficult to learn how to connect healing on Stamden. Like healing, tankiness, damage, and movement. Connecting all four of those things, which are essential for PvP, is difficult on Stamden. Now I can find that you can get tankiness pretty easy, but keeping that tankiness with that health, with that damage and sustain, then movement, and then healing as well. Yeah, connecting them all, there's always something is lacking, and you've got to balance. You've got to learn how to use the class to its potential. Because obviously, as it's at its max potential, it's a great class, and it's a brilliant 1v8 class. But learning, it's got a pretty steep learning curve, and to get into. Not as steep as these guys, but still, you have to learn how to play it. Now, Magden, I think, is a bit more forgiving than Stamden. So basically, I think healing on Magden is nicer than Stamden. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think Magden healing is nicer. You've got good, just casual pressure. Stamden's only got, basically uppercut into subterranean. On Magden, you can use your AoE ulti, the permafrost, with obviously your version of subterranean. Then you've got your Arctic Blast going around you. You can use Destruction Staff abilities and stuff to mix in. You can get more pressure. Your proc sets can go pretty nicely with Magden. Movement is good, obviously, still on Magden. Tankiness, yeah, I just think it's just a little bit better than Stamden. Like I wouldn't put it up here, right? I wouldn't put it up here with these guys, with the Templar and the the Macro, but I wouldn't put it as low as these. So that's why I put the B+. I think it's just a nice in between. Not much more to say about that though. But yeah, guys, this is my tier list for how good builds are performing, like how good the classes are performing in Blackwood for a new player or a player trying out the class for the first time. Guys, this isn't my pure opinion, right? So this isn't subjective to just my experience. I did this through my Discord, and I evaluated all their opinions and spoke to them about every class. Obviously, this is not fact. What I'm saying here is not fact, other than the fucking Stamcrow. Anybody who doesn't believe me, like I said, can go suck my dick. But yeah, the rest of it pretty much isn't fact, and this is just my opinion, my Discord's opinion. But I am confident that this gives a very good generic understanding of where you can begin and what classes will perform well and what won't, just by starting off as a new player. So guys, if you did enjoy this video or you found it anyway helpful, then please make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment down in the comment section down below, because obviously I love to hear from you guys and interact with you guys. And then subscribe if you haven't already, guys, to stay up to date with all my latest content and to become part of the Apple Army. Guys, we are past 1,400 subscribers now, and we're at 125 followers on Twitch, and we've only done 2 streams on Twitch. Was it? No, 3 streams on Twitch. Guys, thank you for all the support that we've been doing. I'm going to be streaming again on Twitch tonight. I've been running a bit late with stuff today, and that's why the video's out late, and I do apologize. But yeah, guys, come follow me over on Twitch. The link for the Discord is down in the description below. And again, guys, thank you for the massive support that I've been getting from my members. You guys are amazing, and if you guys want to become a member today, you can just hit that join button. Basically what you do is you get a little icon next to your name in YouTube saying that you're a member, and then in my Discord I give you your own rank. You'll be getting stuff like future build videos out a day earlier, or to be fair, I'll be doing like a separate kind of build video for my members, in all honesty, and then exclusive kind of clips and stuff with members only community posts. But yeah, guys, I love you all. I appreciate all the support I get. So without any further ado, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out for now. Bye bye.